Hello, Life Vantage. This is Darren Jensen coming to you from I'd say our broadcast studios, but from our media room here at our corporate headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah. I should say, cold Salt Lake City, Utah, because all of our mountains have snow on it now. But it's like, where did fall go? We went right from summer right into winter. But today is a continuation of our doctor series, and today we have Dr. Lee Seward with us. And let me read you a little bit about Dr. Seward. He obtained his degree in zoology and then a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degrees from Colorado State University. He had returned to college after 6 years of active duty in the United States Army, including service in Vietnam as an officer and helicopter pilot, where he was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. Congratulations. In 2013, Lee was named the American Heartworm Society honorary membership. He served on the AHS board from 1995 to 2007. Dr. Seward has created and developed products to help animals, and his contributions to science have extended from basic discovery through product development and beyond. And with that, I'd like to welcome Dr. Seward with us today. Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Oh, thank you, Darren. It's an honor and privilege to be here with you. And I want to say that being part of your doctor series is indeed humbling to me because of the tremendous guests that you've had, and to be included and associated with them is really a privilege for me to join you. So thank you for having me.
You're in a unique position. You are our first veterinarian that we've had on our broadcast. So, I mean, you're unique. That's great. And when we first got on before we went live, I was commenting about the poster in the back with the cows on. I'm like, it's perfect. I can tell you're a vet.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you that are watching, as we normally do, we give away a product. We've got Pet Tandem today in honor of Dr. Seward to be on. So we're going to give away Pet Tandem. If you'd like, if you could just in the live comments, put down your name, your city and state, and we'll get you into the drawing. So you can be watching this live, or you can do it, a day or two after. Typically, we wait several days before we draw. Also, if you have comments, make sure that you post those comments as well as any questions that you might have for Dr. Seward, and if they pertain to our, to our discussion, I'll definitely ask those. So with that, Lee, how about we get started? One question that I always ask here on the Doctor Series is, with your background in veterinarian medicine and pharmaceutical research, with animal health, with product development, how and why did you become associated with LifeVantage?
Well, it's an interesting question because, obviously, well, I guess not obviously, but I certainly was not looking for anything when we were first exposed to LifeVantage. We got exposed when we were on an airplane. We were going to San Antonio, Texas. My wife and I were going to a family wedding, and the plane was full. So this woman sits down next to my wife, Rebecca, and Becky doesn't know there's no strangers for Becky. Becky has no strangers. She's very extroverted, and her and the lady started talking, and I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I was reading, and we took off, and within a few minutes after takeoff, the woman pulled out an iPad and started showing a video. And as you can imagine, it was the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. And I was looking over Becky's shoulder and became intrigued. And I watched the video and I thought, wow, pretty impressive. a staff faculty member from University of Colorado, Denver, on the medical faculty there, came up with this product, and I thought it was pretty amazing. The technology, I knew something about oxidative stress and free radical damage, so that started everything. So happens that the people that introduced us to us, the woman sitting next to Becky, was Jennifer Bishop, and her husband Stephen was sitting across the aisle. And after doing due diligence and finding out that what I saw on that video was the real deal, and actually just the tip of the iceberg, that I'd looked at PubMed.gov, found at that time, I think there was 15, 16 peer-reviewed papers talking about the branded product Protandim Nerf 2. Unheard of in the supplement industry to have branded product actually in peer-reviewed scientific journal articles. So we became distributors, and I must say that the Bishops have been tremendous leaders, mentors, and actually are great friends for us. I also like to say that this whole business has brought us into contact with a tremendous group of people, people with LifeVantage, the people, the staff at corporate, and our team, just great people to work with, and we've really, really enjoyed that. Also, Darren, I would like to say also that we're really impressed with where you're taking the company, and really appreciate all that you're doing. And by the way, you're looking pretty sharp yourself. You've obviously lost some weight, and you're looking really good.
Well, thank you. I'm over 60 pounds that I've lost, so I'm headed down fast. And thank you. Thank you for giving the background on how you came in. It's interesting that I think there's never a bad time to talk about the company. And here you had an airline flight that you were on, and somebody started talking to you, and here you are on our call today. Well, let me ask you more a scientific question now. So we have 23 or so peer-reviewed studies on Protandim. You look in the NIH database or the library, PubMed, and I think there's around 180,000 articles on oxidative stress and 9,000 on Nerf 2. But most of these seem to pertain to humans. How do we know that Protandim would work on a dog?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because obviously the National Institute of Health, the NIH, and the NIH library is in fact focused on human medicine. But we have to look at it in more depth. Out of that 180,000 papers, obviously I haven't looked at all of them, but I can tell you just from looking at the literature that the vast majority of the studies on PubMed are in animal models. They're in animal models, or they're in vitro, or studies in cell cultures or in other systems. Well, if they're in animal models, and in most cases when they're in these other model systems, they're just as applicable to dogs as they are to humans. So this vast amount of literature is just as applicable to dogs. So we have a demonstration throughout that literature that in animals, the oxidative stress, how important it is documented in these studies. And in fact, if you look at some of the publications, one of the ones I like to talk about is one that's often referred to in our presentations, and you've talked about it, and it's been in the corporate presentations, and that is the one that's by Paul and Levine out of Washington State University, where the authors talking about NRF2 as the master regulator in our bodies. And their conclusion, as many of you probably remember, if you read the full conclusion, or the last sentence of the conclusion, it says, "It is difficult to escape the suggestion from tables 1 and 4 that we may be on the verge of a new literature on health effects of NRF2. which may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. Well, if you go back and look at table 1, here's what the author's comment on table 1 is. Most of these studies have been done in animal models. So, in fact, the conclusion that Dr. Paul and Levine should have written is that may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine and veterinary medicine.
Good point.
Because obviously their basis of their discussion is based on animal models. Not only that, if you look at the 23 papers that you referred to on PubMed that talk about Protandim, well over half those papers include animal models. So even in the Protandim studies and the conclusions that are drawn through what I call translational medicine, where we take and apply things that we learn in one species to other species, that those animal model studies are just as applicable to dogs as they are to humans. Case in point, the paper on osteoarthritis. In that study, Dr. Absarah used an animal model. It's based on an animal model. And further, if you look at the study that was on from the National Institute on Aging, where they found an improvement in longevity based on the administration of Protandim, it is a mouse model where they found that 7% improvement in longevity in male mice. So obviously to me, the application from this huge database of PubMed.gov applies to dogs just as much, and perhaps you could even make a argument that it is more applicable to dogs than it is to humans.
So
furthermore,
keep going.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, okay, so it's applicable. I mean, I think you've stated very, very well that, and shown that, okay, it has application to animal models. What makes it so unique, though? What makes it unique for dogs, or why is this little product so wonderful for dogs?
Yeah, well, dogs, as you are well aware, have a lifespan shorter than ours. Many people say that one human year, or 1 year is 7 years in a human's life for a dog, but that whole ratio is a little bit misleading. But the bottom line is, obviously, they do age faster. So they're having an increase in metabolism. That increase in metabolism means they're obviously generating more oxidative stress in the aging process. Furthermore, virtually all dogs are athletic, and they are in their athleticism, they get around and are very active. Finally, dogs obviously are exposed. Many of them are outside, so they're exposed to radiation. They're exposed to environmental toxins at a rate that exceeds what we are exposed to because they're on the ground. They aren't wearing clothes. They don't have shoes on. So all the things in the low environment that have settled there, they're exposed to. Plus, we know from recent papers that much of their food is produced in a way that increases toxins, even from the commercial diets. So in that respect, if we look at what's unique about Protandim and addressing that is, first off, it is the only product out there that has the NRF2 activation technology, the patented technology from our company. There's no other product out there that addresses oxidative stress, inflammation, and fibrosis like our patented technology. Secondly, there's no other product that we all, just like we just talked about, that is backed by science. Not only this vast amount of general literature that's out there, but we have studies. We have studies that were done. First one I'd like to refer to has been published in the Federation of American Scientists in Experimental Biology. That was actually authored by our own Natalie Chevreau, Dr. Chevreau, and Dr. Barnett, among others. And in that particular study, they looked at 80 dogs over a period of 60 days that were administered pet tandem. And in their conclusions, what they found was that dietary supplementation with pet tandem resulted in significant improvements in overall owner perception of pet behavior. Owners were asked to make specific assessments, as well as notable trends for the increase in catalase and T-bars and cognitive function. These results demonstrate an important wellness benefit in reducing oxidative stress in dogs. So it's been proven in that particular study that the effects of pet tandem mimic the effects of protandem in humans. Further, Dr. Chevreau also presented at a previous meeting of the Federation of American Scientists in Experimental Biology, a study I love, and I call it the Rowdy Frisbee study. And in that study, after throwing a Frisbee on a measured course for a dog named Rowdy, here's what the authors concluded. Again, Dr. Chevreau and Dr. Barnett were included in this. Rowdy exhibited a significantly longer period of exercise and after being given pet tandem for 25 days. The number of retrievals, speed, distance, and time to variable gauge changes increased over time with daily supplementation. In other words, the performance of Rowdy improved in this relatively short period of time of administration. After a short period of time of administration, Rowdy was improving. So obviously we have specific studies, again, with the branded product, Pet Tandem for dogs. The other point I'd like to make about that, as far as being unique, is what I call the sheer genius, and that is the addition of avian sternum cartilage as a source of chondroitin glucosamine, type 2 cartilage, and hyaluronic acid. Avian sternum cartilage is the most bioavailable source, something like 10 times more bioavailable of these particular ingredients that are for joint health than any other supplement available. I don't know of any other product that has this that's readily available for use in dogs, and also includes omega-3 fatty acids with all the benefits that omega-3 fatty acids have. And I think, and from watching animals and watching dogs that are given Pet Tandem, I think this combination of ingredients, while we don't have any data, really makes the product work faster. Not only my own observation, but a lot of other veterinarians that are distributors for LifeVantage, but also other people have told me repeatedly that they are amazed at how quickly they can see the improvements in the well-being of their dogs after administration. Finally, a couple points. One is the formulation, the ease of administration. It's a chewable tablet with an attractive flavor, at least attractive for dogs, and the fact that it is a high-quality product manufactured to human standards in appropriate manufacturing plants meeting international guidelines for manufacturers, and it is certified by the National Animal Supplement Council, which is a group that looks specifically at product quality. So we have this high-quality product that provides all these particular benefits. I'm just amazed. It is a tremendous, tremendous product.
Wonderful. Well, a question for you, and this came in from Darlene Power. She asks, what age is best to start our dogs on Pet Tandem?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any reason not to start a dog even as it emerges out of puppyhood. It might not get a lot of benefit in giving it to puppies, but there's no downside to giving it to puppies. but certainly I would say 6 months or older, you're probably providing a benefit to that particular dog. We had inherited a puppy ourselves here a little while back.
Hello.
2 or 3 years. This is Hap. Hap, and that's my wife Becky in the background.
Becky.
Hap, we got from the pound from the Humane Society of Weld County when he was a puppy, and we immediately started him on Pet Tandem. He's now 3 years old, and Hap is wearing a medal that he's won. I mentioned that dogs are athletes. Hap is the winner of his race at the running of the Wieners in Loveland, Colorado. Hap is a Chiweenie, part Chihuahua and part Dachshund, and he's been at it. He's been on Pet Tandem since we got him. We had an older dog a couple of years before we got Hap that passed away, that was on Pet Tandem in her old age. She was old by the time we started with LifeVantage, and we immediately put her on Pet Tandem. And long story short, Becky and I are convinced that we got probably a year of quality life out of her, because she was really headed south before we put her on Pet Tandem. And we believe that we got an extra year of quality life with our loyal friend Sheila. So important product for people that enjoy and love their dogs.
Well, thank you. I've got a question for you. One of the most common questions or common requests that I have is, so we have, as a reminder for everyone, Pet Tandem. We're giving that away. So enter your name, city, and state if you want to get into the drawing for it. But, the product, it says Pet Tandem Dogs, and you've talked about how it's flavored for dogs. But let's say that you're a cat person, you have a cat, or I have run into a tremendous number of people that give it to horses. And I don't know if they use the Pet Tandem. I don't know if they use Pro Tandem. What can you recommend for, let's say, somebody with, if I have a cat, do I give them Pro Tandem? Do I give them Pet Tandem? What about horses? How do I do that? What's your recommendation?
Yeah. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, we're down to 2 horses. One time we were up to 18, but we're down to 2 horses. And I can tell you, both of our horses are on Pro Tandem, the human formulation. And I tell you what, let me just lobby you right now. I'm looking forward to the day when we have Pet Tandem for horses.
Okay.
And I tell you, I know hundreds of people that I have contact with through LifeVantage with horses, maybe thousands that are using Pro Tandem in their horses to very, very good benefit. Our cats, we have 2 cats. Both of them are on Pet Tandem for dogs. We don't tell them it's for dogs. And I know a number of people use the Pro Tandem. We just have found our cats, we can get the Pet Tandem for dogs by them a little bit easier than we can the Pro Tandem, even though the Pro Tandem would be easier from a standpoint of concentration. So cats are cats. So getting them into the cat is a challenge, but we do it. And one of our cats we've had on for probably since we started with LifeVantage is now 22, going on 23 years old. Wow. So that's quite old for a cat. And she's doing pretty dang well too. And again, she was not doing so well a few years ago. So we thought we were nearing the end of her life, quality life. And she's doing great. She's doing great. She's been on Pet Tandem, like I said, for 3 or 4 years. So
yeah. How old was your cat again?
20, going on 23 years old.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a cat that has lived that long.
Well, I think this is a pretty rare age. And we were trying to figure out how old she was the other day. And we had a young man that was a neighbor that when we found this cat, she was a feral cat born in our barn, our hay barn. The rest of her family, her mom was not there, must have abandoned the kittens in the really cold of winter. All but 2 of the kittens had froze to death. So she was a survivor. And of the 2 kittens, she's the only one now that's left. The other one passed a couple of years ago. But the kid that helped us socialize this kitty, we just saw him the other day. He was flabbergasted that she was still around. And we counted back from the age he was when he helped us socialize Pumpkin, novel name, huh? You can guess what color she is. When we socialized her, we counted back in years, and it came out to 23 years.
Wow, that's
amazing.
That's
amazing.
Incredible.
Yep.
How do you? We're down to our final time here, but how do you integrate Pet Tandem into your business?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a couple things that I think are people should be aware of, because I've found it to be pretty dang effective. Obviously, the first thing is when you're building a relationship with people, or when you're going through social media, make your people aware of your interest in dogs and cats and pets. Make them know that you're an animal lover. Show them pictures of your own pets, etc. That sort of thing on social media. And if you're talking to people, or if you see people walking animals, pets, dogs, talk to them about your experience with dogs, and compliment them on their dogs and that sort of thing. But one of the couple of things that I think is pretty cool about Pet Tandem is it's reasonably priced. So it's a reasonably priced product. So if you have people that may be concerned and they're not sure, but they want to find out more, have them get their dog on Pet Tandem. And if they've got a dog, particularly if the dog is showing some sort of signs of aging, etc., or some other condition related to aging or oxidative stress, they're going to see the improvements fairly quickly. And once they see it on their dog, guess what? They're going to be pretty interested in what the product can do for them. The other aspect of that, it's because Pet Tandem is reasonably priced and you're so inclined, it's a great sampling product. So, tell people, if I see your dog, is getting along in age and stuff, and not as active as he once was. Here, why don't you try this? And if you like it, and if it works for you, you can replace that bottle when you order some or whatever. But loan them some or give them some to try on their dog. I call it the gateway product for LifeVantage because it's an easy way to get people that are a little bit reluctant, to get them to experience the benefit of our technology.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Seward, thank you very much. Like I said, you've been our first veterinarian on our broadcast, and you did a wonderful job. And I've learned a lot about Pet Tandem and the best uses of our products on animals. So thank you very much.
Well, you're most welcome. And again, I was so honored to be here, and it's just a great pleasure to be involved in this great ride we're on.
Well, we're honored to have great people like you as part of the company. So anyway, thank you. And also I want to thank everybody who's joined us today. This will be my only broadcast this week. I'm headed off to our Elite Academy I think it's in Osaka, Japan. So I'll be there for a while, then off to Europe to a leadership meeting there. So I'm not sure I'll have any other time to do a broadcast this week, but we'll start back as soon as I'm back in the country. And so from all of us here at LifeVantage, thank you. Have a wonderful week. And remember to put down your name, your city, and state to get in the drawing for the Pet Tandem. And thank you again, Dr. Seward.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody.